Well, I have to tell you that, as y'all can imagine, it's been an exciting few weeks for me. I had the opportunity a few weeks ago to speak at the Democratic National Convention, and it was quite an experience. It was the largest crowd that I ever spoke in front of, and so, as y'all might imagine, when I got the call that I would be speaking, I had two overwhelming emotions. One of them was a lot of excitement that I would have the honor to speak. And the second was a tremendous amount of nerves about actually speaking. And the only thing that I could do was give the speech or make a fool of myself. And so I started to speak, and I messed up my first three lines. My first three lines were supposed to be, my fellow Democrats, my fellow Texans, my fellow Americans. You always say Americans at the end out of respect for the whole country. And instead, I said, my fellow Democrats, my fellow Americans, my fellow Texans. And the whole Texas delegation went crazy over there in the corner of the room. And I thought, well, we used to be our own nation, so I guess that counts. I actually came to the United States from Mexico through Eagle Pass in 1922. And so Eagle Pass, for my family, is really where it started in the United States, with a young 6-year-old girl who came through here as an orphan, her and her younger sister, at a time that was, of course, a very challenging time for our community. But she made her way up through San Antonio. And today, I have the privilege of serving as the mayor of America's 7th largest city and the 2nd largest city in Texas, and one that, like Eagle Pass, is a proud part of South Texas. And I can't think of a time that's been more important for South Texas to come out and make its voice heard in the November election for the Democratic Party. I know why I'm a Democrat. I'm a Democrat because Democrats have always spoken for everybody in the United States of America. Democrats are speaking today to make sure that everyone gets a chance to live the American dream. My grandmother didn't get to live the American dream. She worked her whole life as a maid, a cook, and a babysitter. She dropped out in elementary school, but she worked hard so that my mother could graduate from high school and then go on to college, the first in her family to go to college. And my mother worked hard so that my brother and I could get a good education. My brother and I got to become lawyers and public servants. Today, my daughter Karina is on her way to getting a good education and hopefully living out her dreams. That's what we want for every single person in the country. And the difference in this election between the Democrats and the Republicans is that our Democrats embrace that. They embrace making sure that we invest in our schools, in our public education, so that our young people can compete with anybody in the United States and the world. They want to make sure that all of our children and our seniors have good health care, so that no matter if our folks have diabetes, or they have hypertension, or they have other health issues, that they don't have to use the emergency room as their primary care physician. They can get good health care all the way through. They want to make sure that every single community is invested in, no matter whether it's a community like Eagle Pass, that is a growing city, or it's a community like Houston, that's America's 4th largest city. They want to make sure that the voice of the diversity of America is heard. And today, we have a great opportunity to go out into our community to make sure that everyone who isn't registered gets registered by October 9th, this coming week. That they start showing up to the polls on October 22nd, and that they make sure that they vote, if they haven't, on November 6th, on Election Day. I'm proud to be here with a candidate, with a slate of Democrats, whether they're running for the 4th Court of Appeals, or they're running like State Senator Uresti for re-election in District 19, or like your hometown guy, Poncho Nevares, for District 74. They're running to make sure that everyone is listened to. We know that in the last legislative session in Texas, that the Republicans took a sledgehammer to everything that really matters for creating opportunity in our state. They had the money to invest in education, but they slashed the education budget by $5.3 billion. They chose to focus, instead of education, on things like a voter ID bill, on things like sanctuary cities, on things that are peripheral to the overall progress of Texas. We want to make sure that the success stories out there that we read about and hear about are the ones that are coming from school districts like Eagle Pass and San Antonio and Crystal City and Laredo and Del Rio. And the only way that we're going to do that is if we elect folks like the folks here who have the right values and the right priorities to invest in our communities. So help elect them to their offices on November 6th.